back to paying taxes, that lovely topic that nobody likes to talk about, but everybody has to do. We all live in countries that need public money to run schools, to run hospitals, to run public transportation, to have parks, and to have citizens with a minimum quality of life. Unfortunately, there is a lot of corruption in this world. Actually, not a lot. A lot of corruption. And nobody really likes to pay taxes when they know the government is not being transparent and is diverting the money to their own pockets, and they're being very unethical. But whether we like it or not, we respond to those countries. And we have to comply with the laws of those countries. Again, there is absolutely nothing illegal in having accounts in countries like Panama, Cayman, Luxembourg, Malta, Gibraltar, Bahamas. There's absolutely nothing illegal in doing that, in going there, opening a company to do that. It is the right of every citizen to go to another country that the law might be more favorable and more financially interesting, and you might become a resident of that country and pay the laws to that country where it will be your new financial residency or your new home residency. So those countries are the countries that were in the past known as the fiscal paradise, or as my lawyer friend liked to say, zero taxation countries. Those countries have the incentive to bring capital to them. And how can they do that? They lower the tax burden. So they're not going to charge your pocket with a very hefty amount. So what is important is that you tell your government, hey, look, I'm taking the money from Brazil and I'm changing my residency to somewhere else. Once you do that, you're doing something absolutely transparent and legal. So we call that in banking declared and undeclared capital. So you always have to declare to your country or to your central bank or to your bank that part of your wealth is in another jurisdiction, it's in another country, and that wealth there's nothing wrong. And me, as a Brazilian citizen, being a taxpayer in the Bahamas, I lived in the Bahamas for 9 years. I did all my banking activities over there. So I tell the Brazilian government, I don't live in Brazil anymore. I am not going to be paying taxes anymore to the Brazilian government because I was legally, gainfully occupied by a bank in the Bahamas. So I suggest that everybody study a little bit of what's out there in terms of jurisdictions, and always report to your government what you're doing with your money. So in this way, you're never going to be doing any illegal activities. There are way better jurisdictions and solutions today out in place, and I am not here to recommend any of them. I'm just telling you guys that they exist and that they're there to be studied. So a person might, I know the specific case of the Bahamas because I lived over there. Anybody can go there, buy a property, pay $3 million. If you have $3 million, you buy a property, and then you go through a bureaucratic process, but you gain a Bahamian residency. And then you have to actually live in the Bahamas. It's not just buying a house over there, and you actually need to have a specific number of days that you live in the country. So you respond to the Bahamian Central Bank, to the Bahamian authorities. And the Bahamian authorities are not charging capital gain taxes. So what are capital gain taxes? Or the part of the money that of your profits, when you make a gain, you buy something at $10 and then you sell something at $12, you just made a 20% profit. So that $2 profit, maybe 10 cents needs to go to your government. So depending on the tax burden, you have to give a little bit to the government. So the Bahamas doesn't charge that. So the $2 that you just made from $10 to $12, according to the Bahamian law, you don't pay taxes. So there's nothing, absolutely nothing illegal in dealing with that. And I don't want to be disclosing that too much in terms of what's happening out there. All I can say is that Bahamas is a country that has been fighting for many years to not be perceived as a shady jurisdiction, as a country that people don't pay taxes and go there for criminal activities. I lived over there. I had a very strong compliance department that as a banker I had to report to, and always confirm to the compliance department that the clients that do have bank accounts in the Bahamas, or legal people, solid people that do have proof of address, that they're not doing illegal activities and they actually live in the countries where they live. So you cannot just say you live in the Bahamas, but I'm always calling your cell phone and you're gonna be always in California, because your compliance department is gonna say, hey, I'm not stupid, I'm always paying bills for this client in California and his cell phone is in California, maybe he lives in California. And then the compliance department Googles and actually sees that your client is in California, and that means the client is a US person. That means any jurisdiction of the world is not, or all the jurisdictions of the world, all the countries are not supposed to be banking accounts for US persons. They are supposed to be banked from the United States. The law is very clear that US persons are supposed to be doing their banking activities and financial advisory activities in the United States or through a United States financial agent. They report to the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission. They report to the NFA, the National Futures Association. They report to the IRS, the tax payment arm of the government. So US persons, regardless of where you are or where you want to be, you still will always be a US person. If you have a green card, if you have a residency, I'm very sorry to inform you, but you will always have to be clear with the American government. So I really appreciate your attention into jurisdiction, proof of address, residency, and the country that you respond to. Always know your law, always know which country you respond to, and be compliant. Thank you.